Marcus, from their piece of this, what does this injury actually mean for Cleveland, for Shedeur, and for whatever winds up happening with their quarterback situation?
Yeah, it's super unfortunate because what he showed in the preseason is that, in my opinion, he earned more reps in practice and an opportunity to play against good on good. And Dominique knows that, Graz knows that being in camp, that is some valuable reps.
Nobody was ready for what dropped last night. In a league where headlines change by the hour, this one didn't just grab attention, it detonated like a bomb in the middle of the NFL news cycle. The story broke in pieces, first as whispers on fan forums, then as grainy sideline clips popping up on social media, and finally as a full-blown investigative segment on national sports networks. And at the center of it all, a single NFL referee, a veteran of more than a decade on the job, suddenly and mysteriously removed from his upcoming assignments. No explanation from the league, no press conference, no soft-worded statement about personal reasons. Just gone, and the reason, according to the footage now making the rounds, is tied directly to Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders and an injury that has already been surrounded by doubt, speculation, and frustration. The video is jarring in its simplicity. It's not some distant overhead shot where you can't tell what's going on. This is up close, clear, and unforgiving. You see Shedeur step into a throw during a high-tempo drill, the play winding down, the defense easing off. Then bang, a late hit, shoulder straight into his side, the kind that makes every quarterback coach in America throw their headset. Sanders crumples just slightly, clutching at his oblique. And there, standing mere feet away, eyes locked on the contact, is the referee. No flag, no whistle, no motion to the sideline. He just watches, almost frozen, then turns away as if nothing happened. The clip cuts off there, but by that point, the damage isn't just physical, it's reputational. For the official, for the crew, and for the NFL itself. The league's official line? Predictable. They're calling Sanders' injury a minor oblique strain, insisting it happened within the normal course of play, and stressing that his removal from drills was strictly precautionary. They add that the referee followed all standard protocols, and that no reviewable foul occurred on the play, textbook PR language designed to slam the door shut before anyone can wedge a foot in. And on the Browns side, head coach Kevin Stefanski has been just as careful, telling reporters they're managing Shedeur's workload and keeping an eye on the bigger picture. It's all framed as business as usual. But here's the problem. People who were there say it was anything but usual. Sources close to Sanders claim the hit was late, the angle was dangerous, and it came after the whistle. Not borderline late or within the bang-bang window. Late, period. And the ref saw it. The idea that a seasoned official would miss something that obvious doesn't sit right with the players, the coaches, or the analysts who've been replaying the clip like it's game-winning tape. For them, the real question isn't whether it was a foul, it's why the call wasn't made. And then comes the real kicker, the timing. This isn't happening to just any quarterback. Sanders was coming off what many were calling the single most impressive preseason performance of any quarterback in the league. He had analysts like Dan Orlovsky publicly lobbying for him to get first-team reps, fans demanding the Browns give him a real shot, and even rival defensive players talking about his poise in the pocket. He was hot. And now, with momentum and public pressure building, he's suddenly shelved with a minor injury. And the ref who could have protected him is out of a job. Whether you believe in coincidences or not, this one is stretching credibility to the breaking point. When it comes to proving what really happened, the NFL can spin press releases all day, but the footage speaks for itself. And it's not just one angle anymore. Within hours of the first clip going viral, two more surfaced. One from a local beat reporter's sideline camera, and another from the Browns' own internal practice film that somehow found its way to an independent analyst. The plays line up perfectly. You see Sanders plant, release, relax, the defensive rush already peeling away, and then a linebacker takes that extra step, driving into his side. The ball is gone, the play is dead, and the official is standing right there. Former NFL officiating chief Terry McAulay went on air to break it down frame by frame. His verdict was blunt. That's a foul every single time under current rules. There's no debate. You throw the flag. He went on to point out that the late contact was avoidable, unnecessary, and in direct violation of quarterback protection protocol. And that's where this gets ugly. This wasn't a rookie ref still finding his footing in the league. This was a 15-year veteran, a man who's been on playoff crews, worked primetime games, and sat on rules review committees. a man whose name already floated in those quiet locker room conversations about the ones who let too much slide. Players have long memories when it comes to officials, and more than a few remember questionable moments under this ref's watch. Roughing calls swallowed in big moments, one-sided penalty counts, even a sideline shouting match with a head coach that somehow never made the league's official incident reports. Now, all those old memories are back on the table, and the hit on Sanders has become the centerpiece of a much larger discussion. That discussion isn't just about missed calls, it's about trust. Quarterback safety has been one of the NFL's most aggressively enforced policies for over a decade. The league has rewritten entire sections of the rulebook to make sure their highest-profile players stay on the field and out of the trainer's room. That's not just about fairness, it's about business. Healthy quarterbacks mean better games, higher ratings, and bigger sponsorship deals. So when a ref ignores a clear violation, especially against a young QB the league is quietly grooming as a future face of the franchise, it undercuts the whole system. The league's quiet removal of the referee only adds fuel to the fire. If this were truly just a judgment call that went the other way, why not stand behind him? Why not let him work the next game, prove the clip is being blown out of proportion? Instead, his name disappears from the assignment sheet, replaced by an alternate, and the NFL issues nothing. No clarification, no transparency, just silence. And in the NFL, silence is rarely innocent. This is where the implications start to stretch far beyond Cleveland. Players' unions are already watching closely, and you can bet quarterback reps in particular are going to be pushing for answers. We've seen what happens when officiating controversies reach a tipping point. Remember the Saints-Rams NFC Championship no call? That one forced the league to change the rulebook midstream. If the Sanders footage keeps building momentum, we could see new enforcement protocols, expanded review powers, or even direct league oversight on certain types of hits. And if it turns out that this ref had a track record of letting things slide for specific players or teams, the fallout could be nuclear. This isn't just about a bad call. It's about whether the league can still claim it protects its stars when the cameras are rolling and the whole country's watching. If this was any other backup quarterback in the middle of preseason, maybe it doesn't explode like this. But this isn't just any player. This is Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Primetime Sanders, the young quarterback who's been under the spotlight since the moment he set foot in college football, and now stepping onto the NFL stage with the weight of expectation from fans, media, and his own last name. He's been marketed as the new wave, confident, composed, unflappable under pressure, and his preseason performance was backing up the hype. That's why this injury and the circumstances around it hit differently. It's not just about a single hit, it's about whether the league is protecting one of its most bankable young stars. Rivalries fuel the NFL, and this controversy is throwing gasoline on several at once. Within hours of the footage breaking, opposing players started chiming in, some defending Sanders, others taking veiled shots that he should tough it out and play through the bumps. Those comments were met with immediate backlash, with current and former quarterbacks firing back that late hits aren't about toughness, they're about respect for the rules and the profession. One former Pro Bowler posted side-by-side clips, one of a veteran QB getting a flag for far less contact, and one of Sanders taking the shot with no whistle in sight. The caption, "Different rules for different names." That post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes before the league's PR staff could even draft a response. Meanwhile, the sports media world went into overdrive. Debate shows opened their broadcasts with the clip on loop, panelists talking over each other about whether the referee should have been removed, whether the NFL is quietly protecting its officials instead of its players, and whether Sanders himself is being iced out by his own team. Some pointed out that the Browns' depth chart situation, with other quarterbacks injured or underperforming, should have made Sanders the clear choice for more reps, not fewer. The timing of his injury and the lack of a call on that hit? Too convenient to ignore. And then there's the fan reaction. Browns fans flooded comment sections and team social media pages with demands for answers, posting screenshots of the ref standing over Sanders after the hit. Neutral fans, too, people with no stake in Cleveland, have picked up the story, framing it as another example of the NFL's inconsistent officiating. One viral tweet simply read, "If that was Mahomes, it's 15 yards and a fine by morning." The replies were brutal for the league. Season ticket holders threatened to skip games. Some fans even started calling for boycotts of specific broadcasts if that officiating crew was involved. It's chaos, and chaos spreads fast in today's NFL. Every hour that passes without the league addressing the firing directly, speculation grows. Is there more footage we haven't seen? Did the league confront the ref and get an admission of wrongdoing? Or is this all a move to bury a problem before it grows any bigger? Either way, Shedeur Sanders has become the centerpiece of a controversy that's not just about one hit. It's about the perception that certain players aren't given the same protection, and that the NFL's officiating system might have cracks it can't afford to ignore. The deeper you dig, the more you realize this isn't just a sports headline. It's a business story with millions of dollars at stake. For Shedeur Sanders, every preseason snap is an investment in his future value. Every highlight drive, every clutch throw is footage that can bump his endorsement deals, boost his rookie contract incentives, and shape how coaches see him when the real games start. Miss those reps, and you don't just lose rhythm, you lose leverage. Sponsors look for momentum. Teams look for proof under pressure, and with him sidelined under questionable circumstances, that momentum is at risk of stalling right when it should be taking off. On the team level, the Browns are playing with fire. They've got one of the league's most hyped young quarterbacks sitting in street clothes, while the fan base grows restless. Ticket sales for preseason may not move the needle much, but excitement heading into Week 1? That's gold. And right now, instead of rallying around their potential breakout QB, fans are chanting for answers about officiating and accountability. The longer this drags out, the more it sours the relationship between the front office, the coaching staff, and the people paying to fill the seats. And for the NFL itself, the stakes are even higher. Officiating credibility is the league's backbone. Without it, every game is up for debate. If players start believing the refs won't protect them, you risk more than just injuries. You risk the integrity of the product. Remember, we've seen what happens when a single officiating controversy spirals into something bigger. The 2018 NFC Championship no call didn't just embarrass the league, it forced them to overhaul the replay system midstream. This situation has the same potential to ripple outward, especially if more footage surfaces or if other players come forward with similar experiences involving the same official. And that brings us to the final turning point: the firing. It happened quietly, but it happened fast. One day, the ref's name was on the assignment sheet for an upcoming nationally televised game. The next day, gone. No farewell, no retirement statement, no replacement announcement beyond a generic updated crew list. That kind of speed tells you this wasn't a planned move. It was a reaction. Whether it was to the public outrage, internal pressure from teams, or the threat of more damaging footage leaking, the NFL clearly decided it couldn't afford to have that official on the field again. But without transparency, the silence becomes its own kind of confession. Now the bigger picture comes into focus. This isn't just about Shedeur Sanders, the Browns, or even one referee. It's about whether the NFL is willing to confront officiating failures head-on, or whether it will keep handling them in the shadows. If a young quarterback with national attention, a famous last name, and clear video evidence still can't get the protection the rules promise, what does that say for everyone else? So here's the question for fans everywhere. Is this the end of the story, a rogue referee quietly removed and the league moving on? Or is this just the beginning of a much bigger fight over how the NFL protects its players and polices its officials? And for Browns fans specifically, do you believe Shedeur Sanders' future in Cleveland is safe after this? Or should he be looking for a fresh start somewhere that will give him the reps, the respect, and the protection he deserves?